Hi there, this is Linda McCarran. I've been thinking of you and how you are handling this global crisis that we're all in. A little bit of my background is that I've been a teacher in traditional and alternative classrooms. I'm a certified holistic life coach. I've been in sales. I'm also certified in anger management. And last but not least, I am a huge advocate of emotional intelligence. And that's why I bring to you today the question, what's in your emotional toolbox? Emotional intelligence and why we need it now more than ever. As you can tell from the picture on the left, the lady seems to be experiencing confusion, perhaps anxiety, fear. That all translates to physical symptoms, such as this gentleman here who seems to have a headache. You might have muscle tension, stomach aches, the inability to sleep, and a variety of physical symptoms that go along with the emotional responses that you have today. Before we get into all of it, I'd like to give you a simple explanation of what emotional intelligence is. Certainly, it's not a full description for purposes of time, but it'll give you a little idea in case you're not aware of what EI is. I use Daniel Goleman's model. He has 5 different categories, and the basic one is self-awareness, because without that we can't go any further up the triangle. Because self-awareness is the ability to be aware of what you're saying or doing um, at any given time, and how you are uh, being aware of other people as well and what they are doing and saying and how you respond to that. Then we reach self-regulation or management of your emotions and how to act appropriately in any given situation. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't say what's on your mind. It doesn't mean you stuff your feelings. In fact, that's no answer at all to a healthy emotional relationship. But it is on how you say it, what you say, um, and just how you are managing the emotions that you're feeling, not only for yourself, but for others as well. Self-motivation is a large part of EI because it's an internal ability to motivate yourself and to help motivate others. Now, us women, we usually need an external event like a party or a wedding or something to motivate us to lose those 5 or 10 pounds to get into that dress that we want. But here we're talking about an internal ability to motivate yourself, something that is more sustaining. Empathy is a huge part of EI because you are showing empathy to a person when appropriate and in a given situation. It's not like you're taking on what they're feeling. It's not like you're taking and enabling them or being their caretaker of their emotions, let's say, but it is showing empathy as to perhaps listening to them. And then finally, our relationships in terms of EI is the ability to maintain healthy existing relationships and build new ones, or also to know when to exit a toxic relationship. And here's where we find out how much we know about ourselves and how much we don't. The IQ, our IQ, our intellectual quotient, is just the tip of the iceberg. It's what we show the outside about ourselves. It can be what we know about ourselves. That's the 20%, so to speak. The 80% lies below the surface, and it's what we don't know. It's what we're unconscious of. It's what we don't know about ourselves. Sometimes you might have an aha moment like, oh, gee, I didn't know I knew that, or gee, I didn't even know I felt that way. And this reaction is a result of the programming and conditioning that we've had as we were growing up. It also has a lot to do with the experiences that we had. There's a cute little story and very basic. I call it the ham story. It's about a little girl who goes into the kitchen and sees her mom cutting off the ends of the ham. They're having a family party. And she says, Mom, why are you cutting off the ends of the ham? Mom says, I don't know, Grandma used to do it. So the little girl skips it over to the next room and says, Grandma, why did you cut the ends off of the ham? And Grandma says in her infinite wisdom, well, I don't know why other people do it, but I did it so I could fit the ham into the pan. So this is a very simplistic interpretation of how we take on different thoughts, behaviors, beliefs, and of course it extends to much more serious ideas such as, what do we think about money? Is that based on how we were raised? What's our politics? What are our religious beliefs, our cultural beliefs? What do we think is appropriate, and so forth? And all of that has a lot to do with how we were conditioned and what we have experienced. Let's put it to the test. This is an activity on the unconscious process. I want you to take a look and tell me how many triangles there are. Now, it has nothing to do with your IQ or your math ability. If you said 12, you were close. But if you said 13, you were spot on. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So there it was right in front of us in black and white, and we just didn't see it. So it acts as a metaphor for what are you not seeing in your life? What are you not being smart about in terms of your emotional stability? We know that, technology has brought us such, everything's smart today. Smartphones, smart TVs, smart refrigerators, you name it. It has the word smart attached to it. Smart people are smart about their emotions. And some of the ways that you can be smart about your emotions are naming the emotion that you're feeling. Now, you may have a surface emotion such as anger, but under that anger might be some underlying emotions of hurt or fear. Sometimes we get angry when we're fearful. Sometimes we get angry when we're hurt. So naming the emotion can take some of the intensity out of that negativity. Say it out loud what you're feeling. I am so frustrated right now. It too will take some of the intensity out because you're expressing yourself. You're not blaming anyone else for your frustration. You're not getting down on yourself about it. You're just saying what you feel. And in saying it out loud, disperses some of that negative energy. Other ways of expressing your feelings are to write it down. I used to do this as a kid. I would write down what I was feeling. I would tell somebody off in a letter and then I would throw the letter away. You can map your emotions, and I'll show you a picture of that in a moment. You can journal it or get into some creative task. Like there's so much in terms of musicians coming out and giving free concerts. There's other artists doing painting what they're feeling at this time. These are excellent ways to show your emotions. And like I said, fear, confusion, anxiety can result in physical symptoms. And that's the answer to why is this happening again? Because it's old stuff. It's an old modus operandi. It's our default way of behaving in terms of a certain situation. Let's have give you some really simple background about our brain and how it manages. Our prefrontal cortex is our management of time, our organizational tools, saying the right things, remembering details. It's the ability to pay attention and to be focused on something. Here's where our emotions take a turn. The amygdala is this almond-shaped part of our brain that gets what Daniel Goleman called it gets hijacked. It is a knee-jerk reaction to what someone said or what someone did. And so we go into our fight, flight, or sometimes our freeze modem. And that is why, just think of road rage. If we get so incensed about what somebody did to us, cutting us off, let's say, on the road, we have a knee-jerk reaction, and it's not appropriate. We might fight it. We might try to, speed up and give them a piece of our mind. We may flee it, go down a different road, or we might freeze in terms of being so overwhelmed with the negative emotions. So what can we expect if we feel our healing feelings as opposed to the emotional blocks? Well, if you get angry, as most human beings do, we go into blame. If you're fearful, your emotional block is really anxiety. You get to feeling anxious about something when you're fearful. If you're sad, you're more apt to go into a depression. But the healthier choice is how function of emotions educates you. If you get angry at someone, take a step back and think, I've got to build a boundary here. If I'm fearful, it's a warning. What's coming up? If I'm worrying a little bit, that's okay. But don't go into procrastination. Take a more active point of view. So what do we do about this feeling thing? We have to give ourselves what I call the permission piece. Permission to feel. And here's where some of the activities that you can do. Write or map out your feelings. Name it, say it out loud. I am so frustrated right now. I feel angry right now. I feel inept right now. Why am I so confused? What I'm feeling is, and then you fill in the blank. Those are steps you can take that are healthier. So how do I do this feeling thing? On the left here is something I would suggest to do whenever you get in a situation where you need to assess what you're feeling. How intense am I right now? 0 to 10. How long is it lasting? And how often is it coming up? There's a saying that says there's a ripple effect in all that we do. What you do touches me, and what I do touches you. Thank you for listening. Be well, stay safe, and take care.